Welcome to my walkthrough of the Key Stage 2 MathSats Paper 2, the reasoning paper. So what I'd recommend you do, like in the last video, is print off this paper, the link's in the description, and spend the 40 minutes doing it. Make sure you stick to the time, and once you've finished with it and you're happy with it, come back and look at this video and see if you got the marks, and if not, see how you can get them next time. Question 1, it says, William asked the children in Year 2 and Year 6 if they walk to school. This graph shows the results. And it says in this key here that the darker colour means that they walk to school and the lighter colour says they don't walk to school. And we can see along the left here it's going up in each increment, looks like it's going up in tens. So the question is asking us, altogether, how many children don't walk to school? Well, we know that don't walk to school is this colour here. And I can see this is in between 100 and 120, so that must be 110. And this one here is between 80 and 100, that one is 90. So quickly in your head you should be able to do 110 plus 90, which we know to be 200. Now the next part of this question says, how many more Year 6 children than Year 2 children walk to school? So we're looking at the darker colour now. The number of children that walk to school in Year 6 is bang on 120, and in Year 2 it's between 60 and 80, so we know that's 70. So it's asking the difference effectively, so 120 minus 70, should be able to do that in your head. The answer is 50. Number 2, circle the number that's 10 times greater than 907. So what we should be able to do is remember the rule that if we're timesing by 10, our number jumps to the left, so instead of it being in the hundreds column here, the 9 would be in the thousands column. So it should, if we multiply it by 10, look like this, 9,070, because we've effectively just moved this number to the left, and in its place we've put the 0 there. So our answer is this one here. Number 3 is just really a times table question. All it's asking you to do is this number, 9 times by this number, should make 63. So if you know your 9 times table, you know the answer is 7. And moving along now, 9 times something makes 54. Again, if you know your times tables, it should be 6. Now using these numbers we've got here, we should be able to do exactly the same for this box here. 7 times something makes 56, and no, that is 8. And 6 times 8 is 48. Yeah, we've definitely got the answer right. Okay, question 4 is asking us to look at some data and basically to unpick it and answer a question. So it shows us 3 mountains, Mount Everest, Mount Kilimanjaro and Ben Nevis, and the height in meters. And the question is asking us how much higher is Mount Everest than the combined height of the other 2 mountains. So the combined height is the thing we need to work out first. The other 2 mountains are Kilimanjaro and Ben Nevis. And if we combine their heights, we're adding them together. So we have 5,895 for Mount Kilimanjaro, plus the height of Ben Nevis, which is 1,344. And then we can just do our written method to find the answer. 5 add 4 is 9. 9 add 4 is 13. So we put our 3, carry the 1. 8 add 3 add 1 is 12, so the 2 goes in and the 1 gets carried. 5 add 1 is 7, so that is the combined height. Now that's not what the question's asked us to do. It says how much higher is Mount Everest than this number, our combined height. So to find the difference between that, we're going to need to do a subtraction. Here is the height of Mount Everest, 8,848 meters, minus then the combined height that we've just worked out, which is 7,239. And 8 take away 9, again we can't do that, so we're going to have to borrow from number next to it, so that will become a 3, and that's a 1. So 18 take away 9 is 9, 3 take away 3 is 0, 8 take away 2 is 6, and 8 take away 7 is 1. So the difference is 1,609 meters. Number 5 is testing your place value knowledge. It's checking to see if you can add 1,000 onto the numbers, and as you can see here we have the number 3,500, and if we add 1,000 to that it becomes 4,500. 85 plus 1,000 is 1,085. And now we're going to have to work backwards for this second section. So 9,099 is 1,000 more than the number that goes in here. So we're going to have to go backwards, and instead of adding 1,000, we're going to take 1,000 away. So 9,000 take away 1,000 is 8,099. And the same with this one, 15,250 becomes 14,250. Number 6, write these numbers in order of size, starting with the smallest. So we work our way along when we're trying to find the smallest number. We first look at the units column, or the first digit, and I can see there's one beginning with 0, and this one's also beginning with 0, so one of these two is going to be the smallest. We then move over to the next column, so this is the tenths, and in this one we have 9 tenths, and in this one we have 3 tenths, so that one is smaller, so that one's going to go in my smallest box, 0.328. And now this is the next naught, so 0.96. And now doing the same thing again, we have ones here, and in the tenths column we have 2 tenths here and 9 tenths here, so this one is smaller, 1.253, and 1.9 is the last one. This question is testing your knowledge of your hours in a day and your months in a year, but it's also testing your times table knowledge. 60 months in years. Well, we know that there are 12 months in a year, so if we do our calculation, if we count up in 12s until we get to 60, we know that there's 5 years in 60 months, because 5 times 12 makes 60. The next part then, 72 hours in days. Well, we know that there are 24 hours in a day, so if we count up in 24s, we'll find that 3 24s make 72, so that must mean there are 3 days in 72 hours. And the last one finally is asking us how many weeks are 84 days. Well, if we're counting up in 7s, because there are 7 days in a week, you'll find the answer is 12. 12 weeks in 84 days. Okay, for number 8, it's involving quite a lot of reading and picking out the important information. It says, at the start of June, there were 1,793 toy cars in the shop. That's important, so I'm going to just underline that so I remember it. During June, 8,728 more toy cars were delivered. Now the word more there is also important, but so is this number, so I'm going to underline that too. If they've got 8,728 more, well, we know that's on top of the number that we've already got. And finally, 9,473 toy cars were sold. And that's important because we know that if they've been sold, we don't own them anymore, they've gone. So the question is asking us how many toy cars were left in the shop at the end of June. Well, in order to work that out, we're going to have to work out how many we had before this number was sold. So in order to do that, we need to add 8,728 onto 1,793. So I'm going to do that below. Okay, 8 add 3 is 11, so we'll put the 1 and we'll carry the 1. 9 add 2 is 11, plus the 1 we've already got makes 12, so the 2 goes in there and we carry the 1. 7 add 7 is 14, add the 1 again is 15. 8 add 1 is 10. So that's how many cars we had all together before we sold any, so that's 10,521. Now, in order to work out the last bit of the question, we need to look at the cars we have and take away this number, the ones that were sold, to leave us with the cars that we've got remaining. So in order to do that, we'll do our written method here. 10,521 minus 9,473. Okay, starting with the units. 1 take away 3, we can't do that without getting a negative number, so we're going to have to borrow. 11 take away 3 is 8. 1 take away 7, again I can't do that, so I'm going to have to borrow. That becomes 4, and that's now 11. 11 take away 7 is 4. 4 take away 4 is nothing. 0 take away 9 I can't do, but I can do 10 take away 9. The answer is 1. So this is the number of cars that we had left after we'd sold our 9,473 cars, so we're left with 1,048 cars. For number 9, it's testing our knowledge of equivalent fractions. It says tick 2 shapes that have 3/4 shaded. Now for your equivalent fractions, you know that 3/4 is the same as 6/8. It's also the same as 9/12, and we could keep going, but I have a feeling that this will pretty much cover most of these. So looking at the first one, it needs to fit our rule. It needs to fit 3/4. The number we have shaded are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the number we have all together is 6 plus the 2 is 8. So it's 6/8, which, as we can see, is an equivalent fraction. So that's one. This one here, we have 3 shaded, so that would be our numerator, the number at the top, and we have 6 altogether, so that would be 3/6, and 3/6 is the same as a half, not the same as 3/4, so that's not one. The next one then, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shaded out of 9, and again, that is not one of our equivalent fractions, so it must be this last one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 out of 16. 12 out of 16. If we divide the top and bottom by 4, we get 3/4. So that is another equivalent fraction. So that would be the one. So round 84,516 to the nearest 10. So when we do this, we look at the tens column and we look at the units column, and we look at this one in particular and say, if it's 5 or above, we give it a shove onto the next 10. If it's 4 and below, we let it go, so it goes back down to the previous 10. And we can see it is more than 5 because it's 6, so this is going to be shoved up to the next 10. It won't be 10 anymore, it will be 20, so it's 84,520. Okay, rounding to the nearest 100, we look at the hundreds, tens and units. And again, like we said previously, if it's 5 or above, it goes up, and if it's 4 or below, it goes down. So if we're looking at the 516, we know that the tens column is less than 5, so it will be going back down to the previous 100, so that would be 84,500. And finally, it's asking us to round to the nearest 1,000, so we look at our thousands column, and we look over to this column here, the hundreds, and say, again, 5 or above, and I can see it is 5, so that means it is going to be pushed onto the next 1,000, so it's 85,000. Number 11 says that there's a rule for the time it takes to cook a chicken. That rule is it takes 20 minutes plus an extra 40 minutes for every kilogram. So it says in the question, how many minutes will it take to cook a 3-kilogram chicken? Well, in order to do this, we're going to kind of have to go backwards a little bit. We know that for every kilogram we need 40 minutes, and because we have 3 kilograms, well, it's going to be 3 lots of 40, which is 120 minutes. Not forgetting to add the initial 20 minutes, so 120 add 20 is 140. For the second part of the question, it says, what is the mass of a chicken that takes 100 minutes to cook? So what we're going to have to do here is do 100, because that's how long it takes, minus the 20 minutes it takes initially, so that's 80. And the number that we've got left is a multiple of 40s, and it's 2 40s, so that must mean it is 2 kilograms, because for every kilogram it takes 40 minutes, and it takes 80 minutes, so 2 times 40 is 80, 2 lots of kilograms. Number 12 says, tick each shape that has the same number of faces as vertices. Now, faces are the flat surfaces on the sides of the shape, and the vertices is just a posh word for the corners. You could count all the corners and all the faces and work it out for yourself, but as a general rule, pyramids always have the same number of faces as they do vertices, so I'll show you what I mean. There's one corner here, 2, 3, one behind at the back, 4 and 5. So there are 5 vertices, and the number of faces, we have 1, 2, 1 on the back, 3, 4, and then 1 underneath is 5. So just using my knowledge of shapes there, I can tell you that the next one's also going to have the same number of vertices. 1, 2, 3, 4 plus 1, 2, 3, 4 faces. So it's this one and this one. Number 13 is quite a long one. It says, Ali and Jack buy some stickers, and here are the stickers that they can buy. They can either buy one pack of 12 stickers or they can buy 12 stickers individually. Ali buys a pack of 12 stickers for $10.49. That's this scenario here. I think this picture is a picture of Bernie Eisel from Team HTC. I may be wrong, but it looks like it. Jack buys 12 single stickers for 99p each. So the question is asking us, how much more does Jack pay than Ali? And all we need to do to work that out is work out how much Jack pays altogether and then work out the difference between these two values. So Jack buys 12 single stickers for 99p each. So what we could do is 12 times £1 and then take away 12 pence, which would be £11.88. Write that down. And Ali paid £10.49 for the same 12 stickers. So the question is asking us, how much more does Jack pay than Ali? So this is what Jack paid and this is what Ali paid. So we just need to do our subtraction. 8 take away 9 we can't do, so let's borrow one. 18 take away 9 is 9, 7 take away 4 is 3, and 11 take away 10 is 1. £1.39. So question 14 says that Amina planted some seeds, and for every 3 seeds that she planted, only 2 grew, and altogether 12 seeds grew. So how many seeds did she plant altogether? Now, if you're struggling to do this in your head, you could do a visual representation, so you could do for every 3 only 2 grew, and you could keep going like that until you got to 12. Or if you can see the relationship, you could just look at how many 2's go into 12. It's 6, so there's 6 sets of seeds that she planted, so that must mean that 6 times 3, she planted 18 seeds to start with. So the answer is 18. Number 15 is just a test of your Roman numeral knowledge. You should know that an M equals 1,000, so we have 2 lots of M, so 2,000, and V and I, a V is 5 and an I is 1, so 1 after 5 is 6, so it's 2,006. Number 16 is testing your knowledge of rotation. If you have a look here, it says Layla completes 1.5 somersaults in a dive. So that's what she looks like when she starts, and that's where she ends up. So she does 1 full turn up to this point. She ends up the same way up as she was when she started, and then she does another 90 degrees and then another 90 degrees to be pointing down. So if you know that in a full turn there are 360 degrees, then 360 plus 180 is 540. For number 17, it's testing your coordinate knowledge, and it's giving us a set of coordinates here, and it's asking us to plot these coordinates onto the graph. Now it says that some have been done for us, so we have 1 along and 5 up, so that is this one here. We have 5 along and 4 up, so that's this one here. So we've got to plot these last 2, so remembering that the rule is along the corridor then up the stairs, so x-axis then y-axis. Let's have a look at that one first. So that's 1 minus 3. We go along 1 and then we are minus 3 down on the y-axis, so our point is here. And going back up to the top again, we have minus 3x and then 4y. So we know that minus 3 on the x quadrant is here, and 4 on the y is up here. And the final part of this question is just asking us to complete the quadrilateral, so you need to use a ruler and join these dots to make our 4-sided shape. Question 18 says, a cat sleeps for 12 hours each day, 50% of its life is spent asleep. And that's true because there are 24 hours in a day, and 12 as a percentage of 24 is 50%. So it says a koala sleeps for 18 hours each day. Write a percentage of its life spent asleep. So we do exactly the same thing as we've done previously. 18 over 24, because there are still 24 hours in a day. Now we can cancel this down. We could divide the top and bottom by 6. 18 divided by 6 is 3. 24 divided by 6 is 4. So we know that 3/4 as a percentage is 75%. So there are a couple of steps for question 19. It says Amina posts 3 large letters. The postage costs the same for each letter. She pays with £20 note and her change is £14.96. And it's asking us to find the cost of posting 1 letter. So first of all, we need to know exactly how much it costs to post the 3 letters because we only know the change at the moment. So in order to do that, we are going to need to do £20 minus £14.96. So we know there are 100p in a pound, so if we take 96 pence away from £20 first, we end up with £19.04. And after that, we then take away the remaining £14. So £19.04 take away £14 is 19. Take away 14, £5.04. So that's the cost of posting 3 letters. So in order to find the cost of posting 1, we're going to need to divide £5.04 by 3. Okay, using the written method, we'd say how many 3 is going to 5? The answer is 1, remainder 2. How many 3 is going to 20? The answer is 6, remainder 2. And how many 3 is going to 24? The answer is 8. So the cost of posting 1 letter is £1.68. Number 20 may look quite complicated, but it's only worth 1 mark and it is quite straightforward if you know what you're doing. So Adam says 0.25 is smaller than 2/5. Explain why he is correct. Now, in order to do this, we just need to convert either the decimal or the fraction into the other one so that they are both in the same format so that we can compare them properly. And you should know that 0.25 as a fraction is the same as 1/4. And our other answer is 2/5. Well, now they're both in fractions, we can compare them a bit better. So we could convert them so they have the same denominator. So in order to do that, we can multiply this quarter by 5, the top and bottom, which equals 5/20. And if we do the same on this side, instead of multiplying by 5, we multiply by 4, so we end up with the same denominator. The answer is 8/20. So you can see here quite clearly that 5/20 is definitely less than 8/20. So if you were to put something simple like this, 5/20 is less than 8/20, and a written answer just to back up what you said, so 1/4 is the same as 5/20, 2/5 is the same as 8/20, 8/20 is more than 5/20, so therefore he's right. If you were to say that, you'd definitely get the mark. Number 21 says, on a map, 1 centimetre represents 20 kilometres. The distance between 2 cities is 250 kilometres. On the map, what is the distance between the 2 cities? So using the information that we have above, every 20 kilometres is worth 1 centimetre. So we need to find out how many 20 kilometres go into 250. And in order to do that, we just need to divide. Now, we could do how many 10s go into 250, and we know the answer is 25. So the number of 20s that go into 250 must be half as much as our answer of 25. So it will be 12.5. We could also do the written method, where we had 250 divided by 20. How many 20s go into 2? 0. How many 20s go into 25? 1, remainder 5. How many 20s go into 50? 2, remainder 10. That's 250.0. We carry the 10. How many 20s go into 100? The answer is 5. So it is 12.5 centimetres on the map. Number 22 says, there are 2 similar right-angled triangles. Write the ratio of side A to B. So we're basically looking at the relationship between this side in its length and its height compared with this side with its length and its height. And if you look, that this is 2 centimetres across and 1 centimetre up. That is the distance between there and that. Now from this point here up to this point, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 across and 1, 2, 3, 4 up. So it is 4 times the size of this triangle here. So in order to express that, we say that A is 1 and B is 4 times bigger than A. Number 23 says that in this circle, 1/4 and 1/6 are shaded, and you can see that just here. What fraction of the whole circle is not shaded? Well, we know that this is going to be a quarter, and this is a sixth, so therefore these are sixths too, so that's 2/6 that aren't, and 1/4 that aren't. So we're going to need to add those together. And in order to add 1/4 and 2/6, we're going to have to change the denominator. What we need to do is convert these denominators so that we have the same on both sides. We could multiply this by 6 and multiply this by 4, both the top and bottom, so I'll do that. 1/4 multiplied by 6, both top and bottom, is 6, because 6 times 1 is 6, and then 6 times 4 is 24, plus, now this time we're going to multiply by 4, so that we end up with 24s at the bottom. 2 times 4 is 8, 6 times 4 is 24. So now we can add these. 6 24ths, add 8 24ths is 14 24ths. Now we can simplify our answer before it goes in. We could divide it by 2, and that would give us 7/12. And that's as far as it can go. I can't simplify this any further, so the answer is 7/12. So that's the end of the 2017 Reasoning Paper 2. I hope you found that helpful. Please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it and you found it helpful. Thanks for watching.